Film Dive Podcast.
And then it was just sequel after sequel after sequel.
There was no character development at all.
Just that on pure technical levels.
There are filmmakers that don't want it just to be an entertainment experience.
Hello and welcome to Media Academy Online Film Dive Podcast. And today we're continuing on our blend of live action film with animated elements. And we're going to be talking about
Space Jam.
your jam.
Yeah, this is my jam, this one, because this is a very special one for me, because this is really when I was just about old enough to really sort of get into film. This is really when I was starting to watch,
You're not watching that, you're not watching Play School anymore.
That's right. I'm transitioning from just chuck something on the TV and whatever's on channel, on ABC we'll do, a channel that we've got where, we'd watch, where we used to watch all our shows, our kids' shows. I started watching film and this was one of the films. So was Toy Story.
Yep.
So it's really that sort of time. Pocahontas sort of came in a bit later, but it's sort of that time where I started watching films, and I was able to understand and appreciate film, even though it's not, understanding how I know film today. But I started to be able to understand the stories getting told.
Yeah, you're actually grasping what's actually happening on the screen.
Yeah.
Following. 96 was a very fond year for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those years that I always look back on very fondly. I think I was in grade 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I was primed for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was into basketball. I loved Chicago Bulls. I had a jersey, Jordan jersey, and, I was all about it at that point. This is when I was like getting into it, and obviously Bugs Bunny and all that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the perfect kind of candidate for this kind of film. And I saw it at the pictures too.
Did you?
I think,
Right.
it was either a school thing where we all actually went to the Dramana drive-in.
Yeah, right. Very good.
At night. And it was
Uh-huh.
and it was really crazy. It was either this, and I think we also did Flintstones, the movie. Obviously, this one was the better one.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, this film, oh my God, how cool. It was like cool.
This really became a thing, and especially my family, where my family's a basketball family. All of my brothers did basketball.
Right.
I never got into it. It wasn't a thing for me. Like I've never really been a competitive sport person. I've been a swimmer, but I always hated the competition side of things.
Yep.
But all of my brothers, and my dad was a coach,
Right.
so it was really.
There you go.
That was really like a big thing for us.
Yeah.
So immediately we got this on VHS.
Yeah.
And that got watched
Till
so much.
it was destroyed.
And it was great to sort of to see basketball.
Yeah.
What to them bring in basketball, and this was before you really had any basketball films. Like there wasn't,
Especially for kids, I suppose.
Yeah, like.
Or anything, really.
We were seeing through the 80s. We're seeing all of these ones about all these other ones like baseball. We're seeing heaps of baseball, hockey.
Cool
We're seeing all
Runnings.
these, cool runnings. That's it.
Golf, with fucking the Bill Murray one, Caddyshack.
But then we had this one, which was basketball, and what a perfect actor! Not even actor.
What a perfect representative for a sport or a figure.
Yeah.
Because Michael Jordan is the guy. Funnily enough, I just watched the Last Dance, the Netflix series, the new one that came out on the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. And man, watching that again just took me back to a lot of moments in my life. And this man is a god, or was a god. I mean, obviously now I see him for the man, but then he was just the name. He was this just thing, He was this idolized entity.
Yeah.
This worshipped figure, and this is when basketball really, from this 93 to 96, I think it was this time where basketball really became a worldwide
Yeah, absolutely.
sport.
And then I remember even back then I was going we'll go as a family to see the games and
NBL.
NBL in the city.
Yeah.
And just like the crowds there were insane. Like,
Yeah.
it was really, this was when it was picking up, where we were starting to see, even in Australia, where we had our own
League
league, National Basketball League, let alone America, where it's like that on steroids.
It became like, basketball became like the cool sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this film really sort of elevated that too.
Yeah, it really
for a lot
just
of people.
Yeah, and it just sort of not just elevated it, but solidified it through all age groups. It just brought basketball to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we move on, let's start talking a bit more about the film.
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about the film itself, which was, it starts off like, even just I think this probably one of the most memorable starts to a film that I can think of. There's some that just, it was such a perfect start, starting off with just this, backyard basketball.
Never forget it.
This backyard basketball, there's nothing.
And he's just shooting, and it's like night time, and his dad or whatever is like, "Come on, Michaels," or whatever.
Yeah.
Time to come inside. Something like that. And that stuck with me too, because it's like,
just one more.
yeah, and it's just like, that's dedication, and I guess that's how someone gets good at what they do, is because you don't stop.
And just, if we talk from a production point of view, just the building of that sound was just so perfect, and where he'd start bouncing it, and then we just started hearing just these noises. And this is a perfect sound design. Always gets missed by a lot of people, especially up and coming filmmakers. They don't think about sound, but the things you can do with sound and that's the thing with sound, like visual effects. Only some filmmakers with money can do a lot of that.
Yeah.
We're starting to see a lot more, but to be able to do it at a standard that people are used to takes a lot of time. But sound, anyone can do sound with any computer. That's the thing with sound. And it gets overlooked so many times. Yeah. But this was just in the sound itself painted a picture where they're like, all right, he's going to go for one more go. And it slows down and he's bouncing that ball, and we're starting hearing all these noises of the stadium. Yeah. And then
it's how they transition into that.
Yeah, it was just such a powerful thing, and that was just because of the sound.
Yeah. And just really quickly, sound designers are magical,
Absolutely.
Because as they say, I can't remember the percentage, but our visual, what we take in visually is a percentage, but sound is a massive percentage.
Yeah, well, they say that 50% of your film is sound.
Yeah.
And it should be. And it's the storytelling opportunities of sound is just, it's misunderstood by a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the thing that makes a film quality, something that people can really watch and give impact to, is sound. Like, you've got visuals, which is getting better every day, but you could film a film on your iPhone and have amazing sound, and it'll still have the same impact as a blockbuster film.
And that's why horror films are so
that's it. Yeah,
so effective.
Absolutely. Horror film is a perfect example. Or you could have a red camera, give someone an 8K red camera and have terrible sound, and the film will look just as cheap as a handy cam, someone filming on a handy cam.
Like 28 Days Later or something.
Yeah. But sound is the missing ingredient for any film. And if you don't get that sound right, your film's not going to hold up.
It's like fucking Star Wars, Alien, Terminator. You go through the list of all the memorable things.
Yeah. Just an example, right? If you, to test this out, pick your favourite horror film, whatever it might be, put it on, and mute the sound. Yeah. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
But have that sound on, it makes all the difference.
It's like Psycho. All of a sudden, there's no tension. It's just, it's amazing.
Back onto the story. I think for me, it's the power of this film was it just had such a strong concept to start with. where it is this idea of, you know, he goes through his career and then he finds himself at the end of his career, and where do you go from here? Oh, well, baseball, why not?
Yeah, well, funnily enough, just really quickly again, I'm going to butt in, his dad was murdered. Michael Jordan's dad was murdered in
Really?
real life. He was shot. He used to go drive down south to go visit his old friends, because where they came from. And he used to drive, you know, across the country. And Jordan used to always say to him, take the private jet, or, you know,
Okay, yeah.
get someone to drive you, you know. But he was always adamant that he used to enjoy the drive. And he pulled over to have a nap, got robbed, got shot in the chest, or something like that,
Yeah,
and he
right.
died. And the news and media tried to pin it on Jordan because he had gambling issues, and they thought that he was caught up in some gambling bullshit, and then this was the aftermath of that. Anyway, none of that was proven.
Of course, yeah.
And this is
silly.
when Jordan decided he's gonna retire from basketball for the foreseeable future, and because his father was always there for him as a supportive figure at every game, every step of the way through Jordan's life, his dad was there behind him. And as soon as that was taken away from him, I think he just got a bit lost and needed to do something. And he played baseball as a kid, so he always wanted to go back to that. And I think that was just a moment where he had to revisit that and find something in himself and recharge, rejuvenate, and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, after that baseball thing was done, he came back, you know. But really interesting. Through this dark period, he's going in to do this kids film, whereas the Chicago Bulls are also, the team are like, what the fuck are you doing? You know?
Yeah, it's
it's bizarre.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go and do this thing with,
It's
you
just
know,
it's
Bugs
just
Bunny.
that snapshot in time where you find someone that all he has done is play basketball, to play basketball,
Yeah.
you know, and then he gets an opportunity to make a kids film, you know, and you just think how many kids around the planet were inspired to play basketball because of this film.
Absolutely.
You know, so, you know, I can see why he might have been persuaded or thought it might have been a good idea, because it might have been like him revisiting himself as a kid as well, and him talking to himself as a kid or something like that, where he's kind of like...
Well, he had kids at this stage, you know, and...
True.
And so, and that part of play, and you know, kids was a big part of this film.
Yeah.
You know, where the kids were in the film. So that's sort of, you know, interesting, where it's
just how things align in life.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think this film has that alignment where things sort of have to fall at the right time.
Yeah.
And that kind of what happened here. Moving back into the film.
Yeah.
The antagonist in this film. That guy it's such a bizarre concept. He's got a theme park on another planet.
Yeah. The alien dudes.
Yeah.
They were really cool designs, and I love how they're all different colours, and it was always memorable, and I was just so interested in the characters, you know, those alien characters. I just wanted to see more of them and more of that world, and I always wanted more. But you got Wayne Knight from Seinfeld, you know, he's in it, and Bill Murray.
Really?
Why is Bill Murray always getting tapped to do these things, you know? Because he did Ghostbusters? I don't know. But he works. Like, you just wait. The next one we're going to cover, Bill Murray's in it.
Yeah.
So that's all three he's been tapped to do.
He was a big part in... Yeah, wow, that's true.
Yeah. Billy West, who voiced Ren and Stimpy, Bry from Futurama.
Yeah.
He does voice work in it. Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
He plays the bad alien, is it? The boss, I think. Yeah. But yeah, great cast. Great cast.
And so we talk a little bit about the storyline.
Yeah, go for it.
You know, where we've got a world of, and it's interesting because it's almost the opposite of what the last one that we talked about in the last podcast was. You know, with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where that was for majority of it the cartoon characters in the real world. Well, this is for the majority of it a real person in a cartoon world.
Yeah.
So it's still got that world idea to it. And we do see the characters in the real world, but for the most of the film, it's based in the cartoon Warner Brothers world, which is Really interesting.
Yeah.
But the thing that could have completely made this fall apart was the lack of technology. But this, even today, is seamless. Just the mix of the two, where he felt like he belonged in that world. And you look at it today, freeze a frame.
Yeah.
And it's, the lines around him are crisp and perfect, and it worked.
They did obviously a lot of detail work.
And
here.
now this is when we started to see digital technology come in. So there's a lot of things helping this, and we were able to see things like 3D environments where we had like the stadium that was in later in the film. That was a 3D environment, and they literally had all of the 2D characters were just plates within that 3D world.
Right.
And so
makes sense.
You could really see the benefits of digital technology in a film like this, where it's almost like, I don't know, what are we, 8-year difference, 9-year difference between the two, and sort of the change in evolution between the times. It's really interesting. Yeah, just coming back, the setup of the characters, how Michael Jordan actually was called upon was interesting. Yeah, the people on the management, this bad guy from the theme park in another world, they want to bring in a new entertainment. They want to bring in something to bring more customers. Yeah,
Mr. Swackhammer.
And how do we do that? We kidnap the Looney Tune characters.
The intergalactic theme park Moron Mountain.
Yeah, Moron Mountain.
Who seeks new attractions to save his failing business.
You got these little creatures who are like his henchmen. His henchmen are these
little
tiny
feeble
little things. And so the spaceship comes in and it goes boosh, and then these little creatures come out.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're gonna get you, and they're
don't they all embody other famous basketballers? That's how they get their talents and stuff.
That was a really interesting stage where they're like, all right, we're going to because you're short, we're going to challenge you to a basketball tournament.
Yeah.
And then they actually go into the real world, and there's a real life game playing, and with these real life basketballers, which is really cool to see all of these real life basketballers, and they take their skills. Yeah,
so you had like Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, and more. But like
and these were guys were huge. Everyone knew these guys.
Yeah, these are all the big players. Like Larry Bird was the big player just before Jordan came in and took over. Same with Charles Barkley. He was another massive player.
And so that was really cool where they saw him, and then they took their power. That was a very fun scene where they'd touch, they'd lose their power, and then trying to see them play basketball terribly, and they're like struggling, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" And then they shut down. They treat it like a plague.
That's right, yeah.
And they shut down all of the games from this point on, and they put up these big walls around the stadium.
It's like coronavirus.
Yeah, this is like coronavirus, but they took it so serious, and it was anyway.
So I love that name of the little alien guys. You got Pound, Blanco, Bang, Bupkis, Nort. Yeah, just little thing there. That's
where the story ends up, is where they challenge to a basketball game, and then they need help because these guys have become really big. So they ask Michael Jordan to come on board. And then it's great. He's involved.
And the rest is history. I mean, he did get a bit of flack for his performance, but I think that's just...
No, I mean, his performance worked in this...
For what it needed to be, it worked. They got it to work, and... I'm sure people are going to always tear people from the outside.
Yeah.
They go, oh, he's just a basketballer. You can't say that he can act, all that kind of... Yeah. He pulled it off.
I think he was genuine enough.
Yeah, no, it's just good. Jordan. Like, he embodies... He doesn't need to, like, put on a performance because he is who he is.
There wasn't... to me, this film was about one thing. And it was about heart. And it was about inspiration, and it was It was all of these things.
So
and
true. And
It was that was the basis of the film. It wasn't a film about. It wasn't like a
Trying to be
Marvel
some-
film that was just big over
or
the top.
Citizen
and-
Kane or something, or
Yeah,
Godfather. Or
It had one purpose. It wasn't trying to be bigger than what it was. It
Mm.
was trying to be a film that was to
Appeal.
inspire and
Yeah.
uplift and
Sell
and just-
basketball, sell
Yeah.
Jordan, sell, you
Yeah.
know, toys, merchandising, all of it. And it all works on all levels.
And it was to sort of revive
Mm.
the Looney Tunes too, because this was a stage where Looney Tunes was
Were-
dying, wasn't really a thing anymore. Looney Tunes
Lost their importance.
they were giant, like all the way through like the mid-century onwards. They were.
They were the dominant
And
TV.
I remember they
animated.
because they'd make all these little sketches and they'd
Mm.
just run them on repeat on TV. I remember them just running on repeat.
And they used to always play at the start of a lot of Warner Brothers films too.
Mhm.
They'd have like a Bugs Bunny sketch or,
Yeah,
whatever, Daffy Duck or Tasmanian Devil. You had
Roadrunner. Yeah,
Roadrunner. All those characters are just...
I think this did give it a lot of life. We haven't seen anything since, but I think this sort of, I don't know, it was almost like a last hurrah, really.
Yeah, Marvin the Martian. I mean, I think they did. I mean, I'm sure they've had plenty of revitalization over the years here and there. We're just not aware of it.
It's probably true. Yeah,
I think I have caught things here and there where I've seen, oh wow.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, I mean, this film budget 80 million, off box office result 230 million.
very good.
So more than half.
Did well, yeah.
Did well.
Mhm.
Directed by Joe Picker,
Mhm.
a guy from music videos. He really hasn't done anything after that, or of
bizarre.
note. So that's a bizarre thing. I'd like to know a bit more about that. But
Probably just living off the
royalties,
that are coming in still.
I ain't doing any more. Just Space Jam and that's it.
Which is interesting. We probably should talk a little bit about that. How this has become a cult following. It's almost got a cult following to it. It's almost like it. There's a few films that around this time that have sort of lasted till today. Space Jam's one of them, where it's still you can buy the stuff at any shop. Almost.
Yeah, the merchandising.
It's still there, the
and all that.
merchant there.
Yeah.
And the other one that comes to mind would be Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
another one from around,
This
that's a
time.
little bit earlier, but it's still like that 90s period that has sort of almost grows in popularity every year, which is really interesting.
It is weird because it's just weird that these properties have lasted this long, because you would have thought other things would have come out and kind of overridden them. But they've just kind of,
Yeah.
they've just stood their ground and gotten stronger.
And that's probably a good segue into talking about Space Jam 2.
Yes.
This has me shit scared, right? because it sort of has a strong place in my heart, like this. Well, I guess what they're trying to turn into almost a franchise, but
You can't do
it's
it.
it's very, to me, this was a film that happened at a very certain
Specific
time, specific, with a specific audience. Everything was very specific.
Very 90s, Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny.
And the idea that they're trying to do the same thing again, but they're sticking with basketball, they're sticking with everything. It's almost
They're switching out Jordan
yeah.
for what? LeBron. That's
it's going to
basically
be a
it.
repeat. It almost feels to me like they're going to.
They're just going to copy exactly
Yeah,
the
and that's
same.
what we see that with like Jurassic World did. That was literally a copy paste of Jurassic Park.
They're just going to put it on steroids.
So that's what we're going to see now. Just new technology, same thing.
I know I did mention I'd love to see a remastered version of Roger Rabbit. Why not just remaster Space Jam as well?
Yeah, nice 4K
Yeah,
version.
4K. Just fucking go all out on it and,
Yeah.
make it fresh. But yeah, the new one's meant to be called what? Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Mhm.
So that infers a new legacy that they're hoping to do more than one, I reckon.
That's what it sounds like to me.
And they're damn sure not doing it on Kobe Bryant anymore. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, it was. It's to follow this, because this has been a long time in the making. This I heard, I don't know, it would have been 5 years ago when I first heard
Yeah.
they were going to make this new one.
Oh,
And
I
then
scoffed at that idea.
Then they were talking, and then they made like a basketball stadium so he could train while he was making the film, and it was just
Yeah. No.
became really big. So there's a lot of people behind this.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
And thank you very much. I'll see you next time, and adios.